Boom, stop! In episode 52, I answer the question, when should you talk about yourself?
Masculinity for the intelligent man. I'm David Tian, Ph.D., and this is Man Up!
Hey, it's David Tian, Ph.D., and this is Man Up, episode 52. And we've got a question here from Nate. It's a very long question, so I'm going to just summarize it for you. Okay, so and actually it's a multi-part question. So it's a very long report about his sort of interaction and date with this girl. So he's a college kid, and the girl he's met is also from college, but she's in a different college. Well, actually it's the same college, but different campuses, right? So different satellite campuses, and hers is an hour away. So when they first met, it was friends of friends, kind of like a party, and it was really flirty both times. So he was saying things like, want to make out, and just like with a funny face. So it's just funny. And she liked that. And he did that both times, making jokes, cracking jokes, really good. So she agreed to meet up, and he made a false pretense to go an hour, drive an hour out to her, already a bad sign. But then they met, right? So this is a dangerous situation when you're going to invest up front that much of your time and effort in pursuing a woman. You better know she's the right one, and you just didn't have enough information, Nate, to know that, to do that. So I would have been very careful about doing that. But that's for a different video, all right? We're going to address the first thing he says about the date. He says, so while they were really flirty and everything, when they first met, then they were on this date, and he took her to coffee. And he says, I tried to talk about myself as little as possible and make her feel good about herself, but I think I overdid it. Yeah, in fact, you can't, it's not just that you overdid it, it's the fact that you did that at all that's bad. So I'm going to try to keep this video short because the last one was really long, and just focus on this one point about when should you talk about yourself. So a lot of people think that, I think this because like, they might have read something from like Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which rightly pointed out that if you want to be interesting to other people, you should be interested in them. And that's a very important point. But while you're interested in them, you should also be expressing who you are. Because otherwise, if you just ask about the other person and then all they're doing is talking, that's a fine thing, except if they don't know anything about you, really. And that's the biggest problem. So, I think men and people should get in the habit of talking at the personal level. So here's the rule of thumb. And there's another rule of thumb. Talk about yourself. When you're in a conversation, especially with somebody you've just met, don't talk about things in the abstract third person. That's really boring. You might as well be an android, like a walking computer otherwise, right? Because if you're just exchanging information, which is the way that most men talk, because they want to keep it asexual, non-sexual, and they just talk about other stuff like the football team or whatever. But even then, if they're really into it, they'll talk about their own views. But men think that to be polite, they need to talk about something other than themselves. And here's the problem, all right? So if you sound like a Wikipedia entry, or Wikipedia, because all you're doing is talking about other abstract or other things, you're not going to be a very interesting conversationalist because it's not personal, it's not about you. Not so much that you talk about, like you're bragging about yourself. You never want to be bragging. But when you want to be expressing your opinions and your viewpoints, your likes and dislikes, your hobbies. Like, just use the words I, me, or my. Okay, when you're having a conversation. So instead of saying Donald Trump is a horrible candidate, you say my view is that, right? So, or like Paris is a great city. Don't say that. Say my view is that, or I found Paris to be great, or when I went to Paris, it was, right? So then it's suddenly much more interesting on a personal level. Okay, so if you want to have a great date, if you want to make a great impression on somebody, if you want them to like you, if you want somebody to feel connection with you at any level, it has to be at a personal level because you're a person. Okay? So to make it personal, you've got to move it from abstract impersonal and move it up to a personal level, which is where you're going to be expressing your own views and your own feelings, okay, and your own thoughts about things, and you're going to use the words I, me, or my, or my in mine, right? First person pronouns. That's a great rule of thumb. If you ever get stuck, just start the sentence with I, me, my, or mine, and then just say what you were going to say after that. It'll just flow. To make it make logical sense, it'll just flow and it'll be great. Okay? So when is it right to talk about yourself? Don't be bragging. Don't be trying to say stuff to impress another person. Okay, that's what you shouldn't do. All right, what you should do though is express your views and relate to people when they talk about, because you mentioned here you guys talked about music and food, that's great, but don't talk about it in an abstract sense of like, what do you like? You like EDM? Why? And it's always focused on her. You want to relate to that. So she says she likes EDM. Say, cool. And then share your views on EDM. Okay? You ask her what's her favorite food. She says whatever, pizza, whatever. You say, oh, wow. And you might ask her what kind of pizza, whatever. And then you say, my favorite food is, all right, and you express for yourself because you have to keep it equal. Otherwise, well, first of all, otherwise she's going to feel like she's going to feel like that the conversation is too one-sided, and so it feels boring. But it's also going to be boring because there's nothing about you for her to like. Okay? You like girls because they're physically attractive, right? Just to put that out there. Okay? But for a girl to like you for more than your looks, and I'm assuming just based on what you said, you're not like a hot male model. For a girl to like you for more than your looks, you've got to express your personality. You have to show something about you and your unique self for her to like. So there has to be something there for her to like. She can't feel like she's talking to a computer, like she's talking to Siri. So don't be Siri. Okay, so start the conversation, start your thing by relating to what she said. Okay, and this is very important. This is Dale Carnegie's stuff too, okay? Relate to what she says. Don't just be asking her, interrogating her. Relate to what she said. And you can use, as a rule of thumb, use the first person pronouns. I, me, my, mine. Okay, and that'll start you on the right track. So she says she likes XYZ food. You ask her why or where's the best place to get that food, and you say, cool, I want to try that. My favorite food is whatever it is, and and then for whatever reasons, it reminds me of whatever. Okay, so speak about yourself. That's going to get people more connected with you. Okay, so join the private Facebook group. Click on the link, join the group. We approve requests on a daily basis and interact with me there. I look forward to seeing you on there. Till next time, man up.